How are y'all? It's me, Elaha. Hey guys, and welcome back or welcome to Elements of Elaha, where I talk about things that interest me, affect me, or am very passionate about. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing another episode of Growing Up African, where I talk about where my African club I started in high school stands and other African-led organizations. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So in the last Growing Up African episode I posted it in December of 2022. So I walked you in between when I first came up with the idea of the club back in 2020 up until our third meeting that occurred in December of 2022. And as you all know, I graduated high school last summer. So I am just going to walk you between January of 2023 and May of 2023 before I graduated. So when we were first trying to get this club established in September of 2022, besides having a sponsor, of course, one of the things you need to do is get a form so that it acknowledges that your club is an official club at the school. So if you need to collect things like dues for field trips, for fundraising things, you can do that. And obviously, when I went there, the ladies at the front office wanted to act like I was speaking gibberish, like I was speaking a whole different language, like I didn't know what I was talking about. So I had multiple different ideas for merchandise. I had ideas for pens, for stickers, for t-shirts. So basically, we were all going back and forth, like me and the other executive members that we had were going back and forth as to how much we can charge for dues so we can pay all of this. So then we went to our club's IG page and we were talking about if we did have any of these items, would you buy it? And most of them said yes, and the ones that said no weren't really people that showed up to the meetings like that. So then basically when we had went to our sponsor talking about, okay, we want to collect dues so we can start getting this merchandise so we can sell it, basically our sponsor was telling us that, okay, I just need to go and talk to one of the ladies at the front office so that we can get access to an account. So she goes over there to talk to the front office lady, and she was talking to them about how we want to collect dues and that we need a bank account. So basically, she was not giving her a clear answer at all. So one of the days that I had lunch, it was a Thursday, I went to the office and I was talking about, is there a bank account for the African Caribbean Student Association? And she was like, what? So basically, we could not collect dues because that form I was talking about at the very beginning, we did not get that in the first place.
Whoa! Can I get another whoa? Whoa! Give me another one. Whoa! Call the ambulance. Whoa!
So basically, the merchandising thing was a bust. So then I had another idea in February of 2023. So I was an avid viewer of all the different events that go on at the school. And so one of the things that was taking place was on February 7th, they had club pictures. So I had this idea that, okay, if people want to show up for the club pictures, let everybody come dressed in their African attire so we can stay after school and make it into the yearbook. So I designed some flyers to say that, oh, we're having a dress up day the same day as club pictures. I was posting it on the IG, and any of the Africans I knew, I was giving them flyers so that they could give to their friends and tell them that we're having a dress up day. So some people did show up. We had a good amount of people show up for the club pictures thing, and I also got to put a quote in the yearbook as well as the president and the founder of the African Caribbean Student Association. And then, since we were not able to collect dues, we did do another movie night for Black History Month about 2 weeks after that, where basically we're asking, okay, if you are wanting to attend our movie night, we ask you to just bring in some snacks. So we did that day. We watched The Color of Friendship on Disney Plus, and it's a very good movie. If you guys get the chance to watch The Color of Friendship and you never have, I would say go watch it. But definitely it shows you like how better African representation has gotten, because whoever they casted to play a Nigerian, I don't know what accent they were doing, but that definitely was not a Nigerian accent. It was not even any African accent. That's like a Lion King mix, a Lion King Wakanda-esque. I don't know what kind of accent that was. And also during Black History Month, there was this psychology teacher that we had that partners up with the ethnic based clubs, so like the Black Student Union, the Asian American Student Union, clubs like that. So basically, since ACSA was not considered like a club because we didn't have that form, when it came to doing an event for Black History Month, since BSU was registered, she asked for BSU to do it, or our sponsor asked, okay, can we probably do something together? But originally, we were planning to have like our own showcase event in like the end of April. That was really the main thing we were wanting to collect dues to go and do. And honestly, like, it was a good plan, you know. I had like a whole sketch of how everything was gonna go. I also was thinking like we can order flags and decorations, but where's this gonna come from when we don't even have the form that could establish our bank account, you know? So basically, instead of that, we just decided to do a potluck event. But the thing is, we didn't even have money for catering, obviously. So yeah, we ended up having a potluck event at the end of the semester. But basically, another thing that ended up happening was most of the people that did come to our meetings in the first semester were band kids. So around the time where we would have our club meetings, they were having band practice. But the thing is, I don't even know why our band teacher was working them so hard. Football season was over, basketball season was over too, and they were practicing year round. That was absolutely crazy. But even though a good chunk of the kids that were attending did come from band, there were also a big chunk of kids that weren't in band too, and they could stay after, and they just didn't. And so then it reminded me of when we had our second meeting about the week after we came back from Thanksgiving break in 2022. So as we were starting the meetings, how it usually would go is like, you know, we would greet everybody, food would be served, then we'd have like an icebreaker, we'd have like a discussion topic, then we'd have an activity, and then we would have like suggestions for future meetings. So one of the first things that we wanted to ask as an icebreaker was like, what is our favorite African or Caribbean dish? And so one of the fellow Caribbean girls from Turks and Caicos, she was talking about like one of her favorite dishes, and there was this like other girl that she was talking with her friends, and she ended up hissing. So even though it was out of context, it made it seem like she was hissing at what that Caribbean girl said was her favorite food. So obviously, like, no, that's not okay. Like, that is very rude and disrespectful, and we rightfully called her out on it. So basically, I think since then, that same girl that was hissing was also spewing rubbish about the club, saying that you could do better. And the thing is, if you could do better, why didn't you just do it yourself? You didn't. That's the thing about like a lot of people when it comes to taking part of establishments that already exist. They love to talk bad about something, but when it comes time to be like, okay, do you actually have any suggestions on how to make it better? Bim, they're mutes. They don't say anything. Okay. Okay. The people that can actually change it, you're not talking to them, but the people that can't change anything, okay.
Since you want to go there, let's go there. Let me move this plate of food to the side. Since you want to go there, let's go there, pissy.
Then when it came to literally just either planning the meetings, promoting the meetings, when it came to doing activities, I was constantly giving people the time to be like, hey, is there anything you want to see? And either they wouldn't say anything or they just wouldn't show up. So even when it came to the main, like, four of us that were planning, I was the one doing everything. So of course I had this thought in the back of my mind, like, okay, I'm about to graduate in like less than 4 months. Is this thing gonna keep going when I leave? And most of the answers that I had in my head was, it was just like a loud blasting no, 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 and no. Like it eventually became a burden because something I had so much passion about, it seemed like the other people I was doing it with didn't have as much passion. After I graduate, the remaining people that were there, originally our club page was still up, but randomly it just vanished. I was thinking, okay, if you don't want to continue it, that's fine. At least, tell me that, you may not be able to continue it. But just like that, unfortunately, African Caribbean Student Association at my high school is gone. But at least thanks to my persistence, my quote and our club made it in the 2022-2023 yearbook. So there's that. I just want to go into other things that we should work on as African led organizations. And the first thing I want to say is we need to abolish African time. Okay? We need to abolish African time. Okay, I understand the sentiment of, okay, you can take the person out of Africa, but you can't take the African out of the person. But there's some cases where really you cannot be affording to do African time. And especially when you're renting a place, like such as a school, where you only have a certain amount of hours that you can rent a space for. If you're renting some place from 5 to 10 p.m., they're going to assume you start at 5. Why is it, okay, you say it's from 5 to 10. Why are we starting at 8? Why are we starting at 8 and then we're going to rush everything? For what? When we could have easily started on time, but you're like, oh, I know people won't come. So all of a sudden, you end up not doing some things because we cannot manage our time wisely. And this doesn't even go just for like the event itself, but planning the event as well. Because if you have something set weeks or months in advance, there's no reason why you should be scrambling to figure out a plan literally the week of. It's just a necessary headache. And then, as I mentioned before, just really having clear and effective communication between whoever leads the club and the members. Of course, if the members don't communicate with the executives on things they want to see or things the executives could do better, obviously nothing is going to change. And one thing that needs to stop is African-led organizations, especially the newer ones, being compared to established African organizations or Black student unions, a lot of the times you'll have people look at these organizations and be like, oh, BSU is doing this. Oh, this African-led club at this college or university is doing this, so why aren't we doing this? Have you ever stopped to think that these clubs have been established and they were once in the same shoes that we were? You can't compare something that's been up and running for 5+ years to something that just started 5 months ago. Like, use your head. And then again, not everybody is going to do everything the same way. Just because we're all African doesn't mean we're going to do the same events. That's the beauty in diversity. But then again, if everyone does not pull their equal weight, then we cease to exist. And then the next thing I want to talk about is anything you want to do to go apply online, especially when it comes to government applications. There's no reason why online should be harder than the paper that we used to do. Most of the time when people would say, we originally have this thing as a physical copy, but now you can go online and do it, you are under the impression that you doing it online is going to go a lot quicker and a lot smoother than it did, because you don't have to waste money on stamps and envelopes to go mail it. Immediately you can fill it out, and then the people that are in charge of whatever you're applying for can get it and they can send you your stuff. But no, that's not the case. A lot of the algorithms are flawed, and they should be making it easier for not only the people that need to use this service, but by the people that work for this service too. Because there's no reason why, if you're trying to renew a passport, that it should be causing headache of the person trying to renew and the person that's helping the person try to renew. It doesn't make sense. But I will definitely say, if you are trying to do anything at the Nigerian embassy specifically, I beg, all that money you're going to waste on photos, just go to the embassy and go do everything. Just go to the embassy and go do everything, because there's no reason why a photo should be causing that much wahala. And you know, not all facial structures look the same. So you mean to tell me I cannot go see the basic information I need to renew something because this algorithm does not recognize that face shapes are different? So I beg, hey guys, if you're trying to renew anything, let's just go to the embassy, and you gotta apply American time too, because if you are trying to travel and you're like, oh, it's okay, I'm gonna just go a month to the time, you are going to stress yourself out, and that's how people end up getting stressed too at the embassy. So at least start like 2-3 months ahead, so you can have at least a bit of peace. Then the last thing I want to talk about mostly is when it comes to the older generation led things, such as, I'm gonna go ethnic here. So last year I went to our Urobo convention that was held here in Atlanta, and definitely one of the main reasons why we cannot get anywhere, one is that the older generation, they don't even respect each other. Like, anytime someone's trying to say something, oh, who asked you? Oh, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. And it's like, if you're constantly insulting somebody, people are not going to want to speak, and people are not going to want to come back. And then on top of that, it seemed like the younger children were being blamed for everything. My thing is, how can you complain about the kids don't know the culture, they don't know how to cook the food, they don't know how to speak the language, they don't know how to do this, that, and the third? And then anytime where you have children show up to these events, you're like, oh, What are the children doing here? At least it's adults only space. And then you're surprised when the kids don't know the culture. And then you're surprised and you're angry that the culture is dying out when the same people that you need to be teaching the culture, you're excluding them. No, you don't work like that. You don't work like that. But anyways, y'all, that is the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe. And check out my last video right here. Anyways, y'all, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.